Welcome back to Dad's Deals and Dumbbells, the show where we talk business, fatherhood, staying strong, even when your kids wake you up at 5 a.m. for no damn reason.
We're two dads, one chiropractor, one lawyer, both entrepreneurs trying to build businesses, raising good humans, and keeping our bodies from completely falling apart.
And today we're talking about something a lot of guys think about, but very few actually understand. That's actually buying a business.
Specifically where to actually find the business for sale, because the good ones usually aren't just sitting waiting for you on a click where it says buy now.
We're going to break down the tools, the websites, off-market strategies, some real-world tactics that you can use to uncover some deals, and I'll drop a couple legal landmines for you to avoid so you don't inherit someone else's tax problems.
And as always, we have the awesome weekly wins, the fails, the quiz corner, Joe's judgments, the recovery corner. You definitely want to hear about these before you want to try and close your next deal.
Yep. So whether you're lifting, you're driving, or you're hiding from your kids in the garage, or maybe the toilet, let's go ahead and get into it here.
Definitely the toilet.
You know, Mitch, as we were preparing for the show today, and we'll get into catch up here in just a second, I have to tell you, it was I enjoyed doing the prep for the show today, and there was so much volume. Once I started digging into getting some actual details to organize and everything, because you and I have done this. This is, I think, kind of second nature to us. We're always kind of looking for the deals, and I think it's fun, right? And I work with a lot of entrepreneurs who are trying to find businesses to buy or to build or what have you. So this is kind of like scratching the surface. We could do so much more stuff on this.
Definitely. Plus, I think we have some good experience personally, I do, of purchasing, moving into a business and keeping it growing, or keeping it like the minimal drop off plus trying to double revenues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So.
And I didn't go that route, but I have had several clients that have purchased businesses, and there's good and there's bad, and there's sometimes it's ugly.
Yeah, so. I'm curious what the uglies are, because I think I had one friend of ours use this as like a bit of a case study on a positive, but I'm like, this is one like the disclaimer at the bottom where results are not typical.
I tend to only see stuff that's ugly, right?
Yeah. You're kind of in that.
We'll chat about
nature.
that. Before we do that, let's catch up on some wins and fails. What this last week look like for you?
Definitely. So I think I mentioned before, you messaged me on Friday or something, and I said, I'm on the way to Atlanta. So I had a successful Cairo business trip down there. So it was just more learning type of stuff with a bunch of other chiropractors. So it was a good time there. I did a cold plunge without the sauna. That was cold. I think.
Where did you do that, and why did you do that?
So it was at this place called the Serenbe community, or the Inn at Serenbe was where we stayed. But it's like this, again, like kind of entrepreneurial thing. So in the 90s, this restaurateur bought like 60 acres of farmland outside of Atlanta before Atlanta was starting to like expand. And then so that 60 acres eventually grew into like 1,000 to 2,000 acres. And now they're basically developing it to be like a 30% of that land is used for development. So like shops, restaurants, and living. And then the remaining 70% is all just kept as is. So like it's kind of like the anti-strip mall thing. So where everything just turns into concrete jungle. They're turning this place, it's like 30 minutes outside the airport in Atlanta. And they're turning it into like a sustainable community type of stuff. So it's more pedestrian friendly versus car friendly. Like everyone there has a golf cart. No one really drives cars. Sure. So it's pretty cool. But the inn there had a pool outside, and it's Atlanta now. So it was like 30 degrees outside. So a group of them, the guy that puts it on likes to do endurance running. I'm not a runner, as we all are aware. So then when you stay at the inn, they actually have a legit gym, like Lifetime. Yeah. Where they have like barbells, cages. It's not just that crappy hotel gym.
Right.
So I was like, I'm going to go lift, but I'll come with you guys at 7:15 in the morning and do the cold plunge in the pool. And we had like 15 people jump in the pool. We were originally going to be there for like a minute. Then it turned into 2 minutes, then 3 minutes. Then we're just like, F it, let's go to 5. And the whole time I'm like, this is cold.
Anybody get a temperature on it? How cold it actually was? Like 50, or are we talking cold?
It was like sub 40. It was
really?
It was at least 40, like close to 40. Like when we did the fire and ice one, that felt warmer.
Really?
And we stayed there for 5 minutes. Huh. And after 3 minutes, because you go through like the stages of cold, we went through like, it almost like skipped right past the pins and needles and went right into numb and warm. Like I felt hot after 3 minutes because I was like, again, your body heats the water around it. So I was like, I'm not moving, but we're good. So that was my win. Had a good, successful business trip.
Was that a good thing? That was a good thing? from a health perspective? Is the doctor and you actually saying that was a wise?
I was wondering after
or
like
we
3 minutes.
borderline on hypothermia.
After 3 minutes, I'm like, man, I got to pay attention to my shivering or something like that. But no, I instantly after that went to a hot shower, warmed up, got some food. It was fine.
Okay.
But I was wondering, okay, like, what's happening? It took me like a good 30 seconds to calm the breath down because I was hyperventilating because it was cold. But again, like one of those fun things to do where it's like, I know it's going to be hard. You're going to feel better after.
Yeah.
So yes, I would say that's a positive. And then my fail for the week was my son is now in three and a half at this point. He's in the stage of like, oh, I want this after bed, or like right before bed. You put him in his crib, like, oh, I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I need to go potty. And I'm like, dude, you
Not
already
quite
went
ready,
potty.
Dad.
Yeah, he still wants to put up the fight. So I got him like a thimble full of water in this cup, and he will not. He just kind of held it to his lips for a minute and didn't drink it. I'm like, come on, man, like this is getting old. Like I need to eat. Like it's 8 o'clock. I need to eat. And I just got home, and then I'm like, all right, I grabbed it. All right, we're done. And he was like, no, I'm thirsty. I'm like, no, we're done. Like, no more water. I'm gonna give it to the dogs. And he was fine up until I said we're gonna give it to the dogs. And he's like, lost it for like 20 minutes. I'm like, I don't want the dog to have the water, Daddy. I'm thirsty. And I'm like, no, we're not doing this, dude. You're just tired. We're going to bed. Like, I'm sorry, but
maybe get one of those little gerbil water feeder things.
So we've done.
He's thirsty. Just goes.
We haven't done that, but we've given him like a water bottle that's like just like a sippy cup thing, and he'll end up peeing the bed. So I'm like, all right, we're not. No. It's like Fuller. No. I can't let Fuller drink anything. He'll be at the bed.
Yeah.
So that's just kind of how it works.
You know, it's funny when you're talking about the cold plunge. Did you ever read the book Living with a Seal? That's about David Goggins.
No.
All right, so I'll give you the
I've
short.
read his books, but not that one.
Yeah. So Living with a Seal, I think, came out actually before David Goggins did his own book. And the guy that's in it hired David Goggins to live with him for like a month to train him.
Oh, okay. I think about it.
There's a point at which David Goggins gets him to go outside and to go in the pond. There's snow on the ground. And they're out there for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
Until I think David realizes that they're about to have hypothermia. So.
Yeah, that's like a hazing thing in college.
Yeah.
Some of the fraternities would do that. Because you'd see, like, in the winter, there'd be a pond outside the dorms, and there'd be little holes in the ice. And you're like, I wonder what fell in there.
Great idea. All right, well, wins and fails for me here. Win for the week. I went down, not last week, and the weekend before, because we've been off for 2 weeks here. I went down to Austin with a couple buddies of mine.
Nice.
And it was a guys' weekend. And this is not a parenting win or fail or a workout win. Actually, it was really a workout fail. I didn't work out the whole time I was there. It's a bad boy. But I got to enjoy a little R&R. So I'm going to say that's somehow has to do with health.
You get some barbecue, go to 6th Street.
Had some barbecue. 6th Street, I think I'm past that demographic. I think you might be past that demographic, my friend.
I had two.
We went there.
I had 2 beers on Saturday, and I woke up with a headache the next day. I'm like, I'm past that.
So
I'm not a fan.
We were at the point where we're out kind of seeing the town, and we make our way over there at like 4 o'clock. There's nothing going on there at 4 o'clock.
No. Everyone's asleep.
We're there for
still.
the senior special as the bar's opening up.
They have
it was pathetic.
There is a cool dueling piano bar when we lived there.
Yeah.
I had to fly out of Austin, so we stayed like the night before, and then I think it was like a Sunday night or a Monday, and like there was nobody around. It was too cold for Texas, but I think there was the 2 piano people, like one for each, and then there was like 3 other people in the bar.
Yeah.
That was it. And this bar is supposed to hold like probably 200-300 people. So they just made fun of everyone in the bar. That was a fun time.
Yeah, it was a good time. I had a good time with my friends, so that was nice.
Good.
On the fail side, on Sunday, this last Sunday, I was catching up on my running, and I did 10 miles on the treadmill, which is incredibly boring. Ooh. But I knew at around mile 7 that my right knee wasn't loving it, and for some reason, I've got a muscle in my back on the right-hand side that wasn't loving it either. So now I'm in recovery for those 2 things.
I know a guy for that.
Yeah, I know you do. I need to find time.
Pretty good.
Yeah, you can fix me. That's good. So those are the wins and the fails.
Did you foam roll it after? Did
you know
stretch?
what? I was the worst.
What were you doing for recovery?
Mitch, I did almost nothing. I failed on that too.
I
knew for sure I needed to do those things. I didn't do it. No, I'm sorry. Okay,
did
so
you
I stand corrected.
Did you went?
I went there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went there on there on Sunday. So I ran on Saturday and I went there on Sunday.
Okay.
And so I did Fire and Ice round 2. Yeah, which was helpful. It was helpful. Didn't go away completely. Still dealing with a little bit of it today. Feeling better though. I'm going to run 5 miles tomorrow. We're going to see how it goes. We'll see how it goes.
Just run it off.
It'll be fine. Just push right through.
Famous last words.
Yeah, famous last words.
That's funny.
Let's start this off here with a little quiz, and I've already got a rapid fire quiz section here for you. I think this is for you. Hang on a second.
Yeah, you asked.
I have so much paper
I
here.
might have the answer. We might chat about it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, here. Okay, we got it down here. All right. So we're going to play a little round of deal edition of Quiz Corner with me asking Mitch a few questions here, some true or false questions, age group things. Yeah, we got 5 questions. All right, so true or false, most small businesses for sale are listed publicly online.
I would say false.
That is correct. It is false. A lot of them are not listed online. There are a few websites. We're going to talk about those in a few minutes, but a lot of businesses that are for sale are pocket deals, and they're done.
It's all about who you know.
It's all about who you know, yeah.
Okay.
Now, what age group or the generations owns the highest percentages of small businesses?
Boomers.
That's correct.
Yep.
That's correct. And for the people that are listening out there, that is something really to pay attention to because we are getting into prime time for buying businesses. Mm-hmm. If there is a business you're interested in buying, there are a lot of boomers who want to retire. And one of the things that I've found repeatedly is that small business people are terrible about positioning their businesses for sale.
Yeah.
They really are. They come up with it at the last minute that they want to sell, and it's too late to.
Most of them kind of tend to treat it as like a job instead of an actual business.
100%. Most small businesses, that's the owner is working in the business as an employee. They're not the owner. Mm-hmm. So, what sells more often? Asset deals or stock deals?
Oh crap.
So asset deals for the public. Asset deals are where you're buying the assets only. Mm-hmm. Stock deals are where you're buying the actual company.
Assets.
Correct.
Which is what you want to do.
Which is what you want to do.
Because then you don't assume there are liabilities.
Bingo.
Boom.
Bingo.
I could be a lawyer.
Or you don't want to assume the liabilities. There's dozens of pitfalls where even if you do an asset purchase, you can. And we'll talk a little bit about that.
Okay. Maybe not. I'll take that back. I won't be a lawyer.
That's the big difference between a full asset sale and a full purchase and an asset purchase. With an asset purchase, you're only buying the assets. You're not buying the liabilities or anything else. You're buying the stuff that people want, that there's value in, intellectual property,
equipment,
physical
leads
equipment, leads, that kind of stuff.
Which is, as far as HIPAA stuff, is allowed.
Yeah,
you can do that.
Yeah, there
with
you go.
Certain paperwork, I would assume, but you're allowed. That question always pops up on like the Cairo pages. Like, can we sell like a business that's healthcare? And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
So
now, what's the number one reason why deals tend to fall apart?
Cash flow. Funds.
In part, it comes down to unrealistic seller-owner expectations.
I should assume that. Yeah.
So cash flow is part of it, right?
Yeah. They're I guess you could say they're overestimating their cash flow.
Yeah.
Or they want to get paid for the cash flow they had 20 years ago.
Correct.
I've had that. I should have known that. That's why most of our deals that we were looking for before this one, that's why they didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I was shocked because one couple was a Cairo and a realtor. And the realtor was I'm like, you should know, like when you're selling a house, I'm not buying this house for what it was 20 years ago when it's brand new. I'm buying for this house that's now a shack. Like, it's not worth what that was.
Yeah. I think one of the big mistakes that small business owners tend to fall into is they get way too emotional about it. Not enough business oriented. If you can't establish on paper why someone should buy the business and why it makes financial sense, you're not structuring the deal properly. You're overvaluing your business.
I guess you could say sweat equity has no actual value.
Nope. So nope. All those things that you did, and building your goodwill and what have you, there's some value to goodwill. There's some value to the phone number, to the name, and so forth. However, at the end of the day, it's going to come down to financials above all else.
How much value would you place on a large leads list? Like if someone's like selling their book a bit, they're like wants to close up shop, and it's like I will sell you my leads list. What would you say to that?
I think
how much would you value it?
I think that's heavily dependent upon the industry, what kind of leads they are, quality of a lead, and how likely you are to close on it are two very different things. Like we have in my office. We have a new lead generation system that we took on a couple months ago that's generating tons of leads. They're not great quality. So we have lots of leads that we're getting, but closing on those is nowhere near as good as the leads that we actually produce locally.
So those are more cold versus warm versus hot. would you
people, so for that, the quality of the lead is it's people who have a legal question, but they don't want to hire an attorney.
Got it.
So, most of the time when people call us, they're looking to actually hire an attorney. Yeah, sure, they maybe want a free consultation, but they actually want to hire an attorney. Weirdly, with this new system that we have, it tends to be people who have an issue, but they've already decided they don't want to hire an attorney, and they just want a free consultation, which is almost a waste of our time.
Yep.
So we like to help people, but the quality of leads is not very good. So back to your point, what's the value of the leads? If it's a huge lead generation thing, it really depends on the leads and how that's going to convert. So I would never tell someone to buy a business because of the lead generation system or what have you. I think you have to look at all elements of the business. People get very excited. I've had several business transactions where we've done asset purchases or complete purchases on behalf of the buyer or the seller as a lawyer. And I got a call about 2 weeks ago from a woman who says, hey, I want to hire you to help me purchase a business. I said, okay. She said, I'm in a hurry. And that's the first red flag. I said, okay, well, so why are you in a hurry? Well, because I want to take the business over at the start of the month. And we're like 2 weeks from the start of the month at that point. And I said, well, it's not really possible. I'm like, you could do it. Like, I wouldn't recommend it. I think it's a terrible idea. And there's a whole bunch of legal reasons why it's a terrible idea. Outside of the fact that you don't have time to do your due diligence and make sure the purchase actually makes sense and that the owner's not hiding something from you. We'll talk about that here in a minute as far as what some of the pitfalls are. But let's jump into actually talking about how people are going to find businesses. There are multiple websites that you can go to. And as we're talking here, I can cue some of these up and show some of them to you. You've been on some of these sites, right?
Yeah. So the top one, BizBuySell.com, BizQuest.com, businessesforsale.com, great URL, businessbroker.net, loopnet.com, that's more real estate.
So here's a great example, BizBuySell.com, and you can pick state, you can pick the industry. We just leave it open to all industries and just do a live search here as we're chatting. And you get 1,257 results. Okay? These are going to have a tremendous difference in the quality of the information here. These are publicly listed, right? So you can list your business here, you can sell it. There are links up here for business brokers, there's tools and advice. There's stuff here. One of the challenges with this website and with the other ones we're going to talk about is that these are leads that have been out there for some period of time, and a lot of them have been picked over. There's a reason they're still for sale. Now, I find it interesting that you've got some things on here, like you've got a business on here for $25 million for an established healthcare practice. I have to believe that whoever's selling this has this listed in multiple other places, and this is just kind of like a catch-all for somebody. I don't see most people going to buy a $25 million business off of a website for their first lead. And
usually those are bought up by big hospital systems.
Yeah, absolutely. So at least that's what's going on here locally is we're seeing that repeatedly.
Yep. Ooh, plastic surgery.
Plastic surgery. You want to get a plastic surgery? Go for it. Now this is more makes more sense, frankly. A turnkey office warehouse. This is real estate, really.
Yeah.
Which brings us to another one of the opportunities for finding deals, and that's loopnet.com. LOOPnet.com. We'll put these on the description to the YouTube link when we upload the episode. On LoopNet, if you've never looked through it before, for commercial sites, there are occasionally listings that will have multiple properties. So they'll have 5-6 properties for sale in one deal. Each of those is sold separately as far as the deed and so forth and the title work.
Yeah, but sometimes they get like a package thing for all.
Correct.
Of them.
Yeah, and then they do a discount because they want to get a buyer, they want to get it off their books, and they want to move on to their next deal. But you've got everything in here. So there's different price points. There's some cheaper stuff in here too. I just saw down there. There was one for $55,000.
Yep.
That is a lucrative consulting business. Mitch, let's look at the lucrative consulting business.
Oxymoron at this point.
I don't know. We could make a lot of money here. It's lucrative, and the asking price is $55,000. So the information they put in here is limited, obviously, right? Established in 2023, fastest growing exit strategy business coaching brand in the country, which I don't even know what that is. Do you know what the name of that is?
Mm-mm.
I'm not sure this is a great listing. Some detailed information. There's one employee. There's no information on here
So
as
it's basically
far as
their leads. It's their leads list. Their client list.
Probably. I don't see anything in here as far as revenue that's been done.
So it says revenue here. Gross revenue,
cash flow. Yeah, you're right.
320.
They got 116 cash flow. Gross revenue is 319.
How would you value that?
Well, so it's an interesting valuation, right? So their cash flow, presumably should be their net cash flow. They're sitting at 160, and they're only asking for 55,000. Why is that?
It's price to sell. Come on.
Why
else?
is that? Established in 2023. Curious to know if it was only established 3 years ago, why they're selling it now.
Yeah.
I like looking at these deals, and I encourage people to. You have to look at every single one of these with a skeptical eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's an issue, right? They're selling for a reason.
Mm-hmm. That's a steep discount. Because how would you typically evaluate something though? Like average of last three years of revenue?
I think the last 3 is a good marker.
I've heard that one
right?
come up a lot.
That was more challenging when we were immediately post-COVID.
Yep.
Because everything was kind of thrown way off.
But then would you look pre-COVID? Would you look at what they have post-COVID?
Potentially.
Sometimes places didn't recover.
So I will tell you a personal story. I have a guy I know who had posted his law practice for sale through the Illinois State Bar Association. I looked at it, talked to him. He sent me some financial information, but it was pretty limited. Mm-hmm. This was back in I think September. And for some reason, he didn't have his 2025 tax return done or 2024 tax return done at that point, which to me is a red flag. Doesn't make any sense. But he was banking on a lot of the financial information was like 2023, 2022, and further back. Mm-hmm. Very little of it was current. So when you find a deal that looks good, great. You're interested in it, fantastic. That's when you really start your due diligence and start looking at it as terms of why it's for sale, what the problem is, why you think you can turn it into something that's profitable. Because there are places to find these, right? I mean, there are these websites.
You could get a dime in the rough, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. And I don't want to disparage all these businesses that are for sale. It's just that they're listed here. They're not fresh. They're not. Some of these have been up for months. I don't know if
Hidden gem market.
Yeah, hidden gem market. Yeah. So here we'll go on the other end of it here because I think you can actually sort it by least expensive. So.
Oh yeah. Would you go?
Some are not disclosed. Here, $5,000. Perfect barbershop location for salon or barber. It's in Blue Island, thriving metropolis of Blue Island. So this is a location apparently that I'm sure is leased, the Bobby Shop, and somebody can make a living at it here.
It's been well established.
1,400 square feet. There's not a lot of information here. Very little information. So I'm assuming what this is they are leasing. They have a lease on this property, and they want to sublease it to somebody else who can come in, and people know there's a barbershop there. There is value to knowing that a particular service is at a particular location, right? You've known there's a barbershop at that location for a long time. You want to go get a haircut, there's one there. A new barber could come in, and that could work just fine. Yeah. Coffee shops work the same kind of way. Mechanic shops work the same kind of way. But here you're not buying an actual business. All you're doing is buying the location. So
hardly, no thanks.
No, I mean that's not a deal I would want to do, but
a lot of hair.
Yeah, there's a lot of hair. A lot of personal service products are going to be on here. I don't think most of these are ever going to sell, to be honest. But who knows? It's a stretch zone franchise. Stretch people out. We're going to do that on a future episode, so who knows? Anyway, so you've got opportunities through some of these websites to go and to check out things that are for sale. So BizBuySell.com, BusinessQuest, BizQuest.com, BusinessForSale.com, BusinessBroker.net, LoopNet, just to name a few. I'm sure there's some more that are out there. We've talked a little bit about the fact that a lot of these deals are already picked over because they've been public for a while.
Yep.
And so they're really good ones that have already been purchased.
So what are they good for?
What are they good for? The websites?
Yeah.
Sometimes you can still find something, Maybe somebody has a particular thing that's close to home and, something just really lines up.
So should I unsubscribe from my notices from BizBuySell? I get like one every day.
I don't know. Do you find anything that you find interesting?
Not really.
Well, I mean, you can keep your pulse on what's for sale, I suppose.
Yeah. Usually it's like a franchise of some sort. I'm like, I don't want to do that right now.
Yeah. Well, it's a whole different conversation, but keep track of that stuff. I don't know if that's a bad deal if you think that's something you're going to do down the road. Let's talk a little about when deals still make sense though that are listed. All right. So a lot of deals are picked over. We've talked about that. Some deals do still absolutely make sense. Deal can make sense when there is a clear reason that's available, and that reason doesn't scare the hell out of you. It's something that you understand.
Hopefully it's a boomer.
Yeah. If you identify a business that's for sale and there is a specific problem and you know how to address it, great. Don't have delusions of grandeur with this, though.
No.
Just because you have fresh ideas does not mean you're going to make it work.
Nope.
We have a local coffee shop that has turned over 3-4 times.
Easily.
And I keep hoping that they're going to find a magic recipe. I don't know that that's a good location for a coffee shop. And now we have so many drive-through coffee places. For one that doesn't have a drive-through, I think the magic recipe you need is that you need it to be social. People want to go there and spend lots of time there.
Yep.
And generally speaking, with coffee, people want to get their coffee and go. I mean, that's just
this is not a sit down.
No,
take your time.
No. But if you can identify a specific problem that you see a deal has and you can fix that with a business, then that might be a good deal. The problem, of course, is if the deal is overpriced, if the current owner is unrealistic, they may drive it right into the ground without ever selling it.
What about industry-specific listing sites?
I think those are different, and you know that firsthand.
Yep.
Industry-specific websites can be really good. I will tell you, the attorneys here in Illinois, you've only been able to buy practices the way you can now, where you can list them and sell them. It's not that old. It's more of a newer kind of concept, and we lawyers are not very good about it at all. Mm-hmm. We're much better about transitioning our firm to people within the firm than selling to a third party or sometimes doing mergers with other firms. Mm-hmm. You have a very different experience, right?
Yep.
So what was it like for you? I mean, we've talked about this a couple times on the show before.
So there's a couple like Progressive Practice Sales is one. There's a couple other broker sites for chiropractors that are trying to sell those types of things. I get notifications from those guys too, because we're always just keeping a pulse. But then it's usually a broker that has their own site that they're listing kind of all of their inventory, and you can go look through their inventory. They have it broken down by state, different locations and things like that. And some of them are nicer than others. But yeah, we used, I can't remember at this point. I can't remember how we found it. Like I've even found it through like certain Facebook pages. I know there's people like trying to list their practices for sale. There's one in Illinois. That's an Illinois Chiro page. This guy in Decatur keeps trying to sell his practice, and it's just not sellable. I
think when we're talking about industry specific, it is common within the chiropractic field for people to sell their practices to other chiropractors.
It's common for them to try.
Okay.
Because it's not always. Again, it's not like we said before. It's always, if it's an older chiropractor, they were more of the hands-on type of person. And again, what we do is very literally hands-on. So to have someone come in to mimic that other person is very difficult. Yeah, because also that person that's been around has probably built up a lot of relationship there.
To your point, the second commercial property that I purchased in town was a chiropractic facility. Okay. And when he put it up for sale, he was trying to sell the business and the real estate. He was trying to sell them separately or together. And I don't know that he ever had any real action on the actual chiropractic practice part of it.
Nope.
I don't know how he was trying to sell it, though, in fairness to him either.
He's trying to sell his lead list.
Yeah.
He's trying to sell his list. That's what he was doing. I got the call.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah. So it wasn't a thing. But again, like that's where you're comparing apples and oranges. Yeah. The way I treat is not the way he treated. I'm like, dude, I don't want to learn what you want to do. That's not me. That's not my thing. I don't want to do any of that. It would be like oil and water. It just doesn't mix. But that's how chiropractors usually are. It's, I built all this. I will teach you all this, and you can just take over and pay me X amount of money. I'm like, a ton of money. I'm like, but that's not gonna last.
Right.
It's not gonna work. The previous my chiropractor when I was growing up, he was a chiropractor. The wife was the realtor. They wanted X amount of money for the practice. And I'm like, but you can only support financially, you can only support a third of your asking price. That's not going to work. I'm like, well, he put a lot of work in this over the years. I'm like, I get that.
So was there a multiple? Were they asking for like 3 times the net revenue, or
no? His revenue from like 20 years ago was this. We should get that. I'm like,
yeah, that's a problem.
No, because your last 3 years of revenue are a third of that.
That's a problem. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so let's talk about brokers.
Yeah.
Right. How brokers work, because the concept of a business broker, I think a lot of people think, you talk to a business broker to find you a deal, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah. So they basically work for the seller. They don't work for the buyer. So you can't exactly trust what they're saying because they don't work for you if you're trying to approach them. and they get paid only if the deal closes. So they might be selling you what you want to hear. What's the term? I can't remember. So there's that. It's different than the current rules though with the realtor, right? Where both parties are not paying. It's the seller is paying for the broker. Correct?
So yeah, what you're referring to is with residential real estate in particular, the rule for a long time was the seller would pay the buyer's commission.
Yep.
That could have always been negotiated. It just wasn't. Like the industry standard was the buyer or the seller's the buyer's commission would come out of the seller's proceeds. Now you negotiate everything. You can still have it that way.
What are they typically doing now? Are they just splitting it 50-50 or is that just now people are more negotiating it?
Yeah, so now there's a conversation that's had up front. If you're going to hire a buyer's agent, you have a conversation with that agent up front about what the commission structure is going to look like. Mm-hmm. So most commissioned brokers on the buyer's end, before they start selling you houses, they're going to have you sign a buyer's agent agreement that's going to say, if we don't get paid from the seller, you're going to pay us a minimum commission of X or a percentage of Y. It's going to say something.
So more in writing.
Oh yeah,
upfront. Okay.
Yeah. So this is not what we're here for today. But if you're going to go to buy a house these days, would you please read that paperwork before you sign the stuff? Make sure you understand what you're signing. I have had people come to me before. Actually, it was before this big change occurred, where someone had one of those listings, and the whole deal kind of just blew up, and the buyer was caught very off guard by the fact they owed their agent a commission. They agreed to pay him. So anyway,
so read the fine print. So
read the fine print.
Broker is not your advisor. They can't tell you if it's a good deal or not. You kind of have to do the due diligence on that. They are not neutral, especially because they work for the seller. They are not on your side. Okay, not neutral. It does not make them bad. It just makes it more. There might be some wool over the eyes. Their job is to keep the momentum going, protect the seller's feelings, and get to that closing. Your job is to slow it down, take your time, do not rush, like that red flag of, I got 2 weeks to do this, let's get it done.
This is your due diligence time.
Yep.
You found the deal, you're optimistic about it. Maybe you even talked about a purchase price, great. Maybe you've talked about a closing date, great. Mm-hmm. Deal's not done. No. I don't care if you have a letter of intent, I don't care if you have a contract. You should have something in your contract for a diligence period for you to actually look at the books. You can have confidentiality agreements, non-disclosure agreements, so you can look at the stuff. You should have that stuff.
We were doing those before. Mm-hmm. So like on the listing at the broker sites, I have basically a standing NDA on all the clinics that they have.
Right.
And like I can just press a button now, and they'll send me all the information that I want.
Yeah.
Or that they have, and then I don't have to re-sign this NDA, which is nice.
It's a big mistake. Look, it's a big mistake to jump into these deals and to have the attitude this client of mine had the other week. And I told her I couldn't do it because of time-wise. She wanted to put it all in. And then the other piece. Did she have some
sort of like a relationship with this?
She struck me as a person who was very excited, but she wasn't going to listen. And I was about to travel, and I had other stuff already. I had a trial set. And so I told her, if you want to do it right now, you're going to need to hire another lawyer outside of my firm because I'm the one that does this stuff. And she went somewhere else. I think I referred her off to somebody, and she had another name. So she chose somebody else, which was perfectly fine because I just saw that deal falling apart.
It's more of a headache than a benefit.
Yeah. I mean, you can do all sorts of things really quick.
Yeah.
If you want to do them correctly, that's a whole nother story. I will say this. Where you're going to do a deal like this, you need to pull from your bench your experts, right?
Yep.
Your CPA needs to be part of this conversation.
Because they can deep dive into those financials.
Absolutely. Yep. They also can help you structure the deal so that you know what you're buying because that will have tax implications down the road.
Yep.
What you buy in goodwill versus what you buy in assets makes a difference.
Yeah. Don't make our mistake of a massive tax bill at the end.
Yeah.
But then, I would say the basic rule of thumb is good brokers open the doors. They give you the access. They kind of find some deals for you or can like present whatever deals they have with you. It is on you to do your due diligence.
Yeah.
They're more like guides through the forest versus the one thing to do. So.
Yeah. Now there are what we call off-market deals that you can find, and I think this is a better place to find businesses. Yep. They're harder to, which means you can't sit in your computer, at 10 o'clock at night when you don't want to go to bed and go through listings. It's not that simple. You can do it. I don't know that you're going to find. You want to find the good deals that are off-market. You're talking to people who you know, or talking to people that you know. So CPAs, attorneys, bankers, industry peers. You start getting the word out that you're looking to buy a particular kind of business, and you got more likelihood of making connections. and getting a lead. And one of those leads may turn into something that works. We're talking about boomers having, I think it's like 40% of businesses are owned by baby boomers.
It's a big chunk.
And so let's say that you want to get in the HVAC business. You are an HVAC tech. You know how to repair stuff. You think you can run the business, or maybe you've been running a business and you want to own your own, but you don't want to start from scratch. That's a great opportunity.
That'd be huge.
And frankly, all the trades. I mean, I keep struggling to find an electrician that I can trust that won't burn down my house when I have him do stuff. So
there's one in F3 that might be good for you.
Well, there you go. You identify a business, a local business that you think, okay, well, maybe the owner is interested in selling. You can actually cold call people. You can actually send them a letter, and you don't have to be a jerk about it. Just want to let you know, I think you've got a great business, and I'm interested in having a business like yours sometime. If you have any interest in potentially talking about a sale,
talk to me first.
Talk to me first, please.
So that when I was talking about the Serenbe, that's literally what that guy did in the 90s. So he went to they noticed some developers coming into the area because Atlanta was expanding. He went to every one of his neighbors, and it's country, so the neighbors were maybe 2 miles down the road. But everyone that had like a parcel of land next to them, they went to the landowner and said, he called him up. He was like, hey, if you're ever thinking of selling, talk to me first. And then he said within, I think the daughter was talking to us, and she said within 72 hours, like everyone around him started calling him because they were there for like 10 years, but they were like generations that were on this land. And they just said, hey, let me buy it out. Because he ended up selling, I think he had a huge group of like conglomerate of restaurants. So I think in the 90s when they bought their land, he got bought out of his restaurants in like 93. So just a huge chunk of money. And they basically retired there and then turned to developing all that type of stuff.
Yeah,
which is a pretty cool feat.
The direct outreach approach is one that you can do. You don't have to do it in person. You don't have to do it over the phone. You can do it in a letter. You don't know what to write? Go to ChatGPT.
Make this.
Tell it what you want to do.
Give
you want to make
prompt.
an approachable letter. I mean, there are ways to do this. There are so many tools that people have at their fingertips.
You could even ask ChatGPT, how should I write a prompt for this?
Absolutely.
And it'll give you the prompt.
And you could take it one step further and say, please identify businesses that might be interested in doing this and give me their addresses.
Have you seen like those lists of like top businesses nowadays to buy from boomers? A lot of them are HVAC, like trades type stuff. Because again, they're like recession proof. They're all retiring.
They're AI proof.
Yeah.
Tell you have an AI robot that can go out and fix your furnace and replace the fan or whatever's breaking down.
They might be like, I would say AI will help diagnose those types of things maybe.
100%.
Or like have better sensors. Or like,
it can answer the phones. It can do a lot of the processing of information, but actually doing the work. Oof.
Yeah, that needs to be hands-on.
Good luck with that.
Yep.
Yeah. So there are opportunities that are out there. You need to go out and find them. The more word you get out to people about what it is you're looking to buy, the more likely you are to get the lead.
Mm-hmm. So on this one, would you want to use a broker? Because on this also, the next kind of segment here is like, who actually knows the businesses for sale? Would you want to just network with your people around you? Would you want to go to your CPA? Like, hey, do you have people that are for sale? Find a good attorney, bankers, industry peers. We definitely have got a good groundwork in there.
I think you do all the above, to be honest. I think you do all the above. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't identified a specific business, like a particular seller, you do all the above. You know what kind of industry you want to be. I think you should have an idea about what kind of industry you want to be in. Maybe you want to buy a restaurant. Maybe you want to buy a chain. Fine, franchise, great. Maybe you want to buy a service industry. Fantastic. You're going to have an idea about how much you're willing to spend. You're going to have an idea about how big it is, what you think you can manage. I mean, you're going to have some parameters to filter this stuff down.
Do you necessarily have to have experience in that industry, you think? Like, I'm not an electrician. Should I go buy an electrician off, like an HVAC place or an electrician's business?
I think that's an interesting question.
Should I go buy an auto shop?
I think you're much better off if you have some industry knowledge. But there also are companies out there that go around buying businesses up all the time. And then they put people in place that actually can do the work. I don't know that that's a wise move. I don't think I would be comfortable doing that. That being said, I will say that I looked at one point at buying a coffee franchise locally. And then I found out somebody already bought the area. and I don't want to drive an hour to a coffee shop that I own and have to manage it. So, but that was a good example. But the way that was structured was that you would go through basically their boot camp on how they do things. And it is an investor model, which is intended to mean that you are the investor, you buy it, you put other people in place to run it, and
you're hands off.
You're hands off.
Yep.
Which is
one person,
different.
I think I had one patient. he had the most stores of Dunkin' Donuts in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So the wedding for his daughter was at the convention center in Rosemont, the Donnelly Stevens Convention Center.
Yeah.
5,000 guests to the wedding. Obviously, they own a Dunkin' Donuts. They were Indian. They had elephants at the wedding.
Oh, yeah.
So
those weddings go on for multiple days.
exactly. So like that one person is not managing
No.
a couple hundred Dunkin' Donuts.
No, I mean, when you're at that point, you've got the infrastructure around you,
You
right?
scale.
You've got other
You definitely
people that
scale.
are below you that are
Yep.
managing other people, and you can absolutely build it. You can absolutely build it,
Yep.
but not everybody's comfortable doing that. Not everybody has the capital to do that. That's a whole nother conversation.
Oh, yeah. That's
You
a
want to
game.
buy a $10 million business that has multiple franchises? Great. You got to come to the table with some cash.
Yeah.
So,
Is that something you would come down and get an SBA loan for?
oh yeah.
You could do that?
Oh, yeah. I will say with SBA loans in particular, the SBA likes purchases of existing businesses.
Okay.
They like those. They're more likely to finance those because there's a track record. And then oftentimes what they want is they want the current owner to stay on for a period of time.
Yep.
It gives them a little security to know there's going to be a transition.
That seems like the perfect private equity move. Don't they do that a lot? Or no?
They can. Yeah. Private equity generally is not interested in smaller deals, though.
True. They
Right.
do they want multiple businesses at once?
Yeah.
So rolling it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I believe private equity is what happened to Red Lobster. I believe private equity acquired Red Lobster.
I've heard that a couple times.
They took the real estate out of Red Lobster, and then they raised the rents. This is what I recall reading, and maybe I'm wrong, but it was kind of a domino effect. They were draining of cash, and now the Red Lobsters are, there's all sorts of issues.
Yeah, they're all closing up.
Our local one closed. They're struggling.
Interesting.
So anyway, there's lots of opportunities if you're going to buy a business. You just need to know what the heck you're getting into. Let's talk a little bit about the legal side of things. Putting the state on notice before closing, huge. I cannot articulate this strongly enough. When that client called me and said she wanted to close in 2 weeks, I literally told her it is impossible for you to get the clearances that you want within the time period you're talking about. So even when you're buying the assets, there's a process, at least here in Illinois, where you need to put the state on notice that you are acquiring most of the assets. It's called a bulk sale agreement or a bulk sale notice that you have to provide to the state saying, hey, I'm acquiring all the assets to company ABCD. And you have to disclose your name, their name, the buyer's name, attorneys and so forth. And what happens is that triggers a time period then for the state to look at unemployment, state taxes, see if there's anything that's owed.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do that correctly and you still acquire the business, even though you're only acquiring the assets and you didn't follow that process, the buyer can be responsible for the seller's taxes, the seller's liabilities.
Oh, yeah.
So even if you're not responsible,
Even if you didn't do the full sale thing.
yes,
Yeah, interesting.
yeah. So when that client called me,
what's that time period? Is it like a 10-day time period?
so once you file the paperwork, they, I don't remember off the top of my head here. I want to say it's about 30 days that the state has to respond.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty efficient about it, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of the time when I've sent them off, I get a response back within like 10 days. And they send you a notification telling you, here's what's outstanding. And they can update it. But then you know that. So the most recent deal we did, there was we had a client who was acquiring a coffee and ice cream shop. And there were some payroll taxes, I think, that were owed a few $1,000s, nothing catastrophic. And the deal was worth a lot more than that. Mm-hmm. But if my client hadn't gone through that process, she could have got whacked with a tax bill simply for buying the business.
Yeah.
And
Which no one wants to have.
In the contract, of course, the buyer or the seller has to pay that back. But once you've given the money over to the seller and the seller's moved to Florida,
Good luck at it.
good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to take those steps. You want to do them correctly. This is where it pays to have a lawyer who does this stuff, to have a CPA that does this stuff, to actually bring those people in. And if you don't want to pay for those services, you're probably not ready to do this business.
No.
If you're acquiring a paper route, you're fine.
Yep.
If you're acquiring a coffee shop, if you're dropping 6 figures or 7 figures on a business, or even if you're dropping 5 figures on a business, you're going to have some potential risk there. You want to talk about some?
Which ones? Close recover? Or I would say I like the key discussion on this one. Make sure you're getting a business, you're buying the cash flow, as well as the people and the problems. That's what I was asking too. Like, does it matter the business that you're getting if you don't have experience in that business? Because if you're good at managing people, does it really matter?
Well, as long as those people that you're managing can actually identify the problem, fine.
That's the catch. But then, yeah, you wouldn't know if they were identifying it properly or not.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we've talked about this here before. Since COVID, I have personally noticed a difference in the workforce that wants to go out and work. There's a lot of people that don't want to work, or they found alternative employment and they figured out a way to make money without having to have a traditional job. Good for you. Fantastic. It means the people who are available to do these jobs, to have middle management positions, it's a smaller group of people.
Yep.
So if your plan is buy the business and then run the business from the top but not understand what the actual problem is, you need someone who understands what the problem is.
That you can trust.
That you can trust. And you can afford to pay. So
A lot of moving parts.
lots of moving parts. We talk key takeaways?
Definitely. I was like, biggest one, unfortunately, I might have to unsubscribe to my BizBuySell email list, but most deals are not found on the online listings.
Off-market deals.
I would say I would say that's probably a little bit better than doom scrolling on social media, though.
Oh, I don't
It's
disagree with
a
you.
little bit more stimulating, maybe.
I don't disagree with you. I think there's value to looking at that stuff, if for no other reason than to see what kind of the climate is of what people think businesses are worth.
And getting the reps at evaluating.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I do know there's a whole
something.
group of people out there that when they see listings that they will call up and they'll lowball people just to see if they'll get them to bite, right? So they see something listed, a business listed for $500,000, they'll call up and they'll say, well, I'll give you $50,000 for it. Just to see what the reaction is and how
Hopefully
low
meet in the
they'll
middle
go.
somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, people do that. I think I hate that strategy. I think it drives me just crazy.
Yeah, that's a waste of time.
I think if you're serious about buying, if you're serious about selling, I think talking to people that you trust is a good idea. Now, as a seller, I will say this, a lot of sellers don't want to do that. They don't want to make it known that they're considering selling a business because they're worried about losing customers.
Or
I
employees.
get that. Or employees, 100%. So that sometimes has to be handled a little differently. So, most of the stuff we talked about today is really from a buyer's perspective.
For sure.
If you're a seller and you want to do this, a business broker maybe. I think talking to other people within the industry about
Don't give away the next episode.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We could. There's like 10 episodes we could pull out.
That'd be a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say off market is definitely the way to go versus online.
Yeah.
Over this weekend when I was at that seminar, we got a text message from a friend who's not a chiropractor that has, I think it was her old chiropractor is looking to retire. So we got a lead over the weekend. We'll see what happens there.
Is that a local place?
I'll say it was within 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's local. That's local.
Yeah, easy to get to.
So you guys are in an interesting spot, and you know this, but you're in an interesting spot because you're still young and you're still growing.
Yep.
Your business. You've acquired a business, so you know how to do it. You also run the current business, and you've built it. You're in a different position than a lot of people to go in, identify a business, figure out what you need to do to fix it, make it better, improve it.
Because it feels like we're still trying to almost optimize our current office. To always, again, we can always improve, but it feels like there's like a couple of things we could optimize on it, and then just take that and deploy it at a couple different places.
I think that's something that's always evolving.
Uh-huh.
I really don't think that's something you're ever done with.
No.
I mean, franchises like McDonald's, they even evolve, right? Their processes, the way they do things.
Yeah, they tried that purple place and it didn't work. Cosmics.
The purple place.
I forgot what it was called.
Yeah.
But for them, that's like a drop in the bucket.
Right.
And then like Amazon Fresh, there's no more Amazon Fresh.
Yeah.
That one in Naperville, not there anymore.
Right. But those technologies, those companies were in the position where they could test out with millions of dollars, not blink.
I'm curious what McDonald's and Amazon learned from the Amazon Fresh thing and the Cosmics. I think Cosmics, someone was saying, we had Billy Bricks, right? He was like, they're probably just going to take the cafe stuff and just apply that at every McDonald's.
Yeah. And there was talk about that following when they were announcing they were closing, that they were still going to have some of the drinks in different places and so forth. Which is that's a whole growing market, just continues to grow. Which I go to a coffee shop and I see there's 5 million coffees there that you can pick from, coffees and protein drinks.
Have you tried the new 7 Brew yet?
Listen, I have.
Their cold brews, I haven't
done a review of them online, but if you're listening, 7 Brew, I spent literally 25 minutes in the drive-through lane yesterday.
Oh,
I don't know what was going on. I didn't lose my cool.
How many cars?
So I was there at what time was I there? I was coming back from something. I think I was there at I was coming back from court. I was there at 11 o'clock in the morning, right? So things are dying down. 10:30 maybe. 10:30, I think 11 when I got out.
No morning rush.
No morning rush. There were probably, when I pulled up, there's 2 lanes, and there probably were 4 cars in one lane and 3 cars in another.
So manageable.
Manageable, I thought. And they come up, they take my order, and it took a while for that. And then I sit and I wait, and the line's not moving.
You ordered one drink.
I ordered one drink, one coffee, one latte, one vanilla latte. Finally, they've taken my money. They bring my drink out. There's still a car in front of me that has not been served. I can't go anywhere.
Oh no!
So I'm sitting there, patiently waiting. Patiently, I had godly patience yesterday. Just
There's your win 2.0 for yesterday. Then
my patience. Yeah,
Yep.
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So next takeaway: never rush the due diligence. I think it took us. It took us 4 months for ours. We found it like December when we took over.
I don't think that's
April.
unreasonable.
No,
I don't think that's unreasonable.
and like good thing is, I would say one of our green flags is like we were basically talking to that seller like every day, like text messaging, shooting the shit. Obviously, we had some business talk, but it's more like we actually became friends with the guy. So
I think that's really important. I really do. I think when you're doing a deal, if you get adversarial with the other party that you're buying from, it's going to make it really, really difficult.
I think we'd be talking with anyone anywhere. You tell me to shove it, I'm
Yeah.
not going to be happy with that.
Yeah.
I'll just take my toys and go to the other end of the
When you're
playground.
buying a car, it's one thing. You get the car, you drive it off the lot, you never have to go back there. When you're buying a business,
Oh yeah,
it is different.
especially if we're trying to do a transition, and if you try and like shortchange the guy or the person that's going to help you with the transition,
Yeah.
they're going to be pretty resentful. So
100%. All right, so we're buying a business. How do we manage all this this stress and the toll it's going to take on the family life?
go to Fire and Ice to manage your stress levels. No, but that's part of it. Make sure you don't change your routine. I've noticed myself, as long as I'm staying active and busy, even if it's just for 20 minutes. Like I think before this, I went to the gym, did like 30, 45 minutes, like a partial of my workout, and felt great doing it. And just go out and do your normal routine, do your usual stress relief. Don't try and cut corners. Don't cut your routine, because again, that's what also got you there. That's my little 2 cents on the close corner.
I will say one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give to people outside the legal end of things is, if you're looking to buy a business or sell a business, talk to people that have done that.
Yep.
Take advice from them. Surround yourself by people that have some experience that you don't have, because you're going to benefit from it.
Yep.
You're absolutely going to benefit from it.
Get some good mentors. Yeah, don't let the deal wreck your body or your family life. If it's too stressful to pull off, maybe it's just not the right time.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, that is a wrap on this episode of Dad's Deals and Dumbbells. If you're thinking about buying a business, remember, finding the deal is just the beginning.
Protect your time, protect your health, protect your family. That's what really makes it all worth it, right?
Yeah, if this episode saved you from a bad deal, a bad contract, made you think a little bit more maybe, a bad tax surprise, do us a favor, subscribe, leave a review, and share with another dad who's thinking bigger.
Put that story in the comments too on YouTube. We definitely want to highlight that, or take a read,
or if you had a really bad experience and you're willing to come on the show and talk about it, people can learn from that.
I would love to do that. That'd be hilarious. And entertaining and educational. All at the same time.
We won't laugh at you. We will laugh with you.